Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Office Hours, and I have my partner, Blaine Bartlett, the OG of all the mess that we've created with Office Hours, and we're on, let me just see what they're estimating, 769. Wow.
Yeah,
Episode 769. Well, we're doing a entire rebranding, so everything's going to be consistent, and we're going to have subtitles and a lot of fun. I'm looking for the notes that Gigi supposedly sent over to me, Blaine, so I don't want to waste any time. I know you're talking to our first guest. Why don't you introduce him and bring him on for the first question?
Okay. Thomas LaGrave Jr., but I want to be sure we get the full title in here. I was just talking a little bit before we went live. We're going to be looking at the work he's doing with HonorBound Academy, and particularly with the focus on today's youth, young men, 17 to 20. There is, I think, a lot to be done, particularly around social welfare, that I think we can actually address and have. I hope, and I'm sure, we're going to have a pretty good conversation about this. So, Thomas, I want to just welcome you to the show. David and I'll just kind of bounce back and forth with questions, and we got about 10, 15 minutes here to work with you on.
That works for me. Thank you much. I appreciate it. I liked your intro. Marvelous. Just excellent.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's all yours.
Looking forward to learning, and we'll start with the most pressing issue for you and kind of move from there. What's the number one priority for you today, and how can we be of service? That's a good place to start since I have no notes.
HonorBound Academy was a program that I put together after watching. I've been a clinical therapist for the last 20 years professionally, and I've been working with youth for the last 40 years. I've watched several generations come and go, and I've seen what is similar to each of the generations, and I see today what is missing from this generation. I came up with a program called HonorBound Academy that's based in a rite of passage. It's ancient. This is not creating a new wheel. So what I did was just looked at the ancient ways of Native American nature. I incorporated all different things. Now, my military background was as a former Navy SEAL. And the last thing that I can do is have a parent wondering what I'm doing with their kid, creating what, little Navy SEALs, and it's absolutely not the point. I'm looking at today's youth, whether they are the heavyset kid, the kid that has no friends, the kid that's isolated. I want access to all of them because I can put together in a program bonding them with one another to find that they've got a family, that we're creating connectivity. So that, in short, is the program that I have created, and where I'm moving forward from there. I'll leave you to ask further questions.
Well, yeah, it's a year-long program, and full immersion, I'm assuming, is kind of what we're looking at. Is it residential in the way that you actually work with these kids?
So now let's understand the piece with it is I have now gone offline with it. We ran the program for almost 7 years and never got it to the level that I felt I wanted it. And that would have been to have an HonorBound Academy in every state, one for the males and one for the females. I never could get the funding necessary for that. So I've shifted and become a professional speaker on adolescence, the transition from leaving mom and dad into the adult world. That's where I sit right now, and I'm doing these types of programs. Now, all the knowledge and all the information and all the experience that I have a website that it's still there, and I've left it to the public domain to have access to everything that I've created so that they could see it for themselves.
Beautiful. And understanding the special welfare, the book that you've written in September, yes. And utilizing a social warfare against special welfare. Can you help me understand what special welfare is and how we can create the appropriate social warfare to solve this issue?
So here, the play on the words is I'm a social worker. Trained, went to school. I have an MSW. And from that perspective, I deal with all of society's ills. I deal with homelessness, with drug addiction, with violence, domestic violence. All of that is my world. And I came to understand that in the last 40 years, I've watched a country, the United States of America, transition into a place that is unfamiliar to me. And so about 5 years ago, I saw what was coming and I wrote a book, Special Welfare, Social Warfare. And the points of those two is today in America, the disparity between wealth is absolutely unacceptable. And if we do not create a special form of welfare, we're going to end up with social warfare. And from my military career, I understand all the signs and the symptoms that are coming about that's already happening. And if we do not do something to bring about a change, nobody's going to be happy with where America goes in the near future.
No, and I let me comment on that real quick, Blaine, because I study history, not just being friends with Blaine, since he can share the history with me, but I study history because human nature never changes. And one of the things that people aren't realizing is that we have created a system where the rich have created the laws, and those laws have benefited the rich and goes far beyond tax laws, but taxes alone. And what's occurring is a doubling effect of wealth. And so this gap that you're talking about is about to double again. And because of the speed of technology and the speed of wealth doubling, that, rich people's wealth used to double in 20 years, then it went to 10 years, and then 5 years, then it's a year and a half, and now maybe 7 months. This gap then becomes greater and greater because there's no possibility, probability, or reality into not only gaining wealth if you're not in that class of person, but it's the exponentiality of the growth that's really going to create this social warfare. And so I just want to point that out, because a lot of people, they wonder what we can do about this gap. And there's a lot of disparity that starts occurring when some people can afford 6 Ferraris and other people can't afford a loaf of bread. We're moving in that direction. Go ahead, Blaine. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm just really intrigued here, Thomas, in the sense, David and I, co-authored a book called Compassionate Capitalism. And in that book, we address that wealth disparity, the toxic reliance on consumption as the driver of economics. And David raised a point here that I think is, worth exploring in the little time that we've got. What is one thing that you can prescribe, and I'll use the word prescribe here, that can begin for the youth at risk here in this particular case, that they can begin to do that can help mitigate a bit this enormous gap that they're facing?
So here's the thing is, the reason I've shifted out of HonorBound Academy and sit here with you in this presentation is I'm in retirement now. I am 66 years old. And what that means is that the skill set that I charge a lot of money over the years, because I'm very good and I believe in the capitalistic realm, the fact of the matter is today I get to volunteer and take this skill set and put it where I want it to go. And I reach out to all of my peers at this age and level, because I can't retire. I'm not going to be able to retire knowing what I know about what is happening with today's youth. And to fix and to truly embrace and have them embrace it, you have to stand with them. You can't talk from a distance, say, this is what you need to do. They're not going to listen. But if you're standing amongst them and you have earned their trust through being there consistently, they will turn to you. And that is how I ended up where I am today, because young people told me their secrets. And I educated myself so that I could never have a situation where I said, I don't know where we're going to get the answer. If I don't have the answer, I know where to get it. And today in retirement, I take it into the Boys and Girls Clubs. In the community that I'm in, with all these parent groups, I don't they don't necessarily like me very much because I'm speaking truth. And I'm telling them that we need to give up much in order for our kids to have what they need. And that's how I'm seeing it can be done by me, my generation, not retiring, but volunteering.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The more we give, the more we're given. The more we're given, the more that can be received, and the more that can be asked for. It's an infinite loop of giving. And as we acquire more, we're able to share more. Thomas LaGrave Jr. sharing his wealth of knowledge, mindset, health expert, social worker, author. Let's stop the social warfare and create a better type of welfare where we're empowering others to empower others. Thomas LaGrave, appreciate you joining us. We'll have you back on other shows as well. I love the sign behind, by the way. We're not promising it's going to be easy, but we do promise it'll be worth it.
You two gentlemen are the first time that I've had the opportunity to sit with aged wisdom. I look forward to returning to this venue to the two of you, because I'm out and about trying to make a change. And if it connects and I get a national conversation going, I'll be back.
You're young to be on this show, brother. Come back.
Yes, you are.
And it is appreciated. That's why I offer it back at you. Thank you, Jen.
That's good.
Very good. All right, we got another
Thank
young on. The founder,
Aged Wisdom.
We got another youngster coming on from Tongal, the CEO and founder of Tongal, and we're going to talk about his new campaigns. Welcome, James DeJulio.
Hey, how we doing, fellas?
Good to see you. You're making us
just getting heavy there for a minute. I don't know where we're going to go with this conversation, but I won't go there. But
we'll go anywhere. We want to talk more about brands and my expertise in subject matter in the entertainment world and understanding building brands, communities, and the appropriate partners and campaigns that can be utilized today in person, on the phone, email, social media. Obviously, for you, you've been a big part in this world in creating and working with global communities with so many creatives in so many countries, working on some really big standout projects, by the way, as well. Today, what are some of the new campaigns that you have with your partners that are allowing brands to rethink or think about entertainment companies?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, look, depending on how much you know about what we're doing, like we really help build, a lot of the foundation for the creator economy, right? When we launched the company, a while ago, and it was really about letting brands or, other companies find the creative talent that they needed in a system that was, my background was in Hollywood. It wasn't kind of necessarily in marketing or advertising. And, I forever thought, I can't believe how, tough it is to, what it goes into making a movie and how inefficient that process is and how much money got wasted in development and story and time and all the inefficiencies around and talent. Like before the earlier part of my career, I sort of came to the realization that the entire economy in Hollywood was based off of only making job offers to people who had lots of other job offers. And, there was no opportunity for new talent. So, that's really driven everything I've done with Tongal, which is, hey, I believe in human beings. I believe that there's great talent and great ideas and people everywhere. And if you begin to empower those people with the right opportunities, the world hopefully becomes a better place. We start to realize our creative potential as a whole. And so that's a lot of the driving force of what I'm trying to do. And so we have a constant flow of, we have brand to creator connections, meaning, our company really functions like, we like to think of it as the studio of the future. It's really like a way to scale content creation, but do it with, the talent that's readily available and smart already before you bring them into the mix. So we have tons and, endless flows of brand to creator opportunities. I mean, there's probably $5 or $6 million in different opportunities available on our site right now. And then there's creator to creator opportunities, meaning once I get, Lego or, Bank of America, whomever to finance my production or whatever the creative job I'm into, I then now offer other sub roles from the creator to the creator. So we're really just trying to empower this big virtuous cycle of opportunity. So there's always a lot going on. I mean, there's nothing in particular that I want to put or can put a point on right now, but there's just a constant stream of action on our site.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm intrigued with just the statistic that, you've got a global community of over 160,000 creatives in more than 175 countries. I mean, that lack of singular aggregation of talent in one location, being able to source from so many places with so much creative talent. It's one thing to have access to it. It's another thing to manage it effectively so that you can actually create the kind of project that you're wanting to do. And I think the standout one is the one that you did with Pharrell Williams through that Lego animation. And you had over 100 creators involved with that, an artist. What's the challenge? What was the big challenge that you needed to get in front of that actually made it possible to do this?
Well, I mean, Blaine, the biggest challenge was just proving that this system worked on a level of that quality or that sort of, creative rigor or, just, I guess, quality in general, to work with an Oscar-winning filmmaker to take what we've built and then deploy it to build something, no one's done that yet. Like I really like in the list of, like, I kind of get myself in trouble because I'm always going after trying to be the first person to do something, but in a list of firsts, no one's taken a creator community and built a motion picture, really, like distributed by a major studio. And so a lot of it was, our system wasn't built to make long form. Our system was built around short form content. And I'm a huge believer in short form content, but branching into longer form really helps us express the value that we created. So a lot of it we did with Scotch tape and scissors in a way, because we weren't you do it and you figure out I'm also a huge believer in figure it out while you're doing it, and then build the systems for it when you figure out how to do it the right way. And I think that's a lot of the reason why we're successful, is because the system that we built on Tongal was really just reflective of what I was doing at Paramount, which is okay, we'll take a pitch meeting. Well, how can I scale pitch meetings? Well, all right. Well, then we built a system to scale a pitch meeting. And then how do we actually truly evaluate what's being said? And then how do we scale creation and production and every post-production, everything that goes along with it? So it was really trying to find a way to take a process that was always been done inside four walls of a studio, and do that in a decentralized way, and getting, a kid who's really talented doing character design in France, and there's literally a story about a guy who is a refugee in Indonesia, and he's always been a huge Lego fan. And he got the opportunity to animate a decent chunk of this film. So it was really finding, and I just want to be clear, this isn't about outsourcing, right? This is about finding the right talent, the right idea for at the right time. And that's really what we're after. We're after how do we get access to as many people and as many ideas as we can. I don't know how you guys feel, but
look, James, I'm working with a lot of companies in different aspects of this, whether it be the new Red camera phone, and I can't even imagine there's Red technology in a phone comparatively, that gives more opportunities to creatives, and there's a lot of talent that just couldn't afford to have the right equipment. And then you have AI that can synthesize 170 or 160,000 different people, so that if there's a big project with Pharrell Williams or Legos or anything that we're doing, you now can make the necessary matches by skills, knowledge, and desire, location, region, and price, which is consistently going down. And so for me, the most interesting thing is, because of the accessibility to equipment, software, AI, the matching that is occurring and the synthesizing of all these things, it seems to be ending up almost in the same place, because there's so many people that it now becomes, before it was not competitive because they would just go with the cover your ass people, right? Okay, Jamie Foxx is good, that as long as we can afford them.
You don't lose your job for putting Tom Cruise in a movie, right?
Right, and coming from the Jerry
we know
Maguire,
it
coming from
model
the
proves
sports
it.
agency they made that movie from, it was an extra $20 million. So when they made
Jerry Maguire,
thank you, off of our firm,
Right.
when they attached, it was $20 more million, Tom Cruise, and then Renee and Cuban and those all wanted to be in it, right? And it was worth it because Cameron Crowe writes so well. And he had the right appropriate people. But do you think it actually creates where we're going to end up, because so many people have this, that now we're in the same position that there's too many people, and although everyone gets a chance, all they're getting is little chances. Nobody ever builds like a big career.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do think people are building big. I mean, you have to look past Jimmy Donaldson to think somebody's building a big career in this. And I know that that's a very extreme scenario, right? Sorry.
No, yeah, you're right.
It's funny. Like, I think it's really the removal of barriers to entry, I think, is a really exciting thing, right? And I think that you don't have to look past any single thing that's going on with Skydance right now to realize that, like, the second Hollywood studio comes out and says they're going to figure out how to scale content creation, they're going to advance, how content is made, and look at the stock price, right? So immediately there's always been this under the surface thing that's got to get better. And I think that will help audiences in the long run. I think with tools, with connectivity, like I think we provide connectivity to talent. The tools are by and large made by other people, right? So what empowers people to tell stories that matter to other people? And at least my point of view is that the internet's allowed audiences to get very niche and very focused around exactly what they like, but there's not a real programming, there's not a real content programming way to get to that. Everything's still, if you look at the product coming out of Hollywood, it's still, it's got to be Superman, and Superman costs $300 million.
Or worse, put $100 million of advertising behind Freakier Friday,
right,
and make that a film.
I think the biggest issue everyone's got is marketing too, because once you spend $100 million on a movie, you got to spend $100 million to market. I mean, or more. And man, you better build an audience pretty fast, right? So it's a really interesting time. Everybody wants to talk about AI, and I think that AI as a force multiplier for the creator is really interesting. Me too. Being able to bring your ideas in the world, that's quicker, and because I feel like ideas are accelerating in the last
0 to 1 is accelerated. That used to take all the time. Now it takes no time.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to get to the doctor. He's probably losing it at $6,000 a minute, waiting for. He's a plastic surgeon.
Today, Wednesday though, shouldn't he be playing golf?
It's like $12,000 a minute. He's a plastic surgeon. I blew it there. Anyway, James, we're going to have you back. There's so many interesting conversations. Also, I want to invite you to some of our content masterminds at SiriusXM or SoFi Stadium. We need your insight. There's a lot of great creators that we're involved with, and would love some insight, and also participation, with you and Tongal. So thank you so much for joining us. You'll get invitations. Thank you, James.
Take care.
Thanks, James.
Great jobs. All right. One of my favorite doctors. Great name, great person. Dr. Brandon Richland is here. He's board certified plastic surgeon, but he's really a nice guy, and has a great perspective right here in Southern California in helping people. And, I don't consider him a plastic surgeon, because Brandon to me is someone who builds confidence. He's a confidence doctor. He makes people feel good about themselves, and he manages their expectations on that feeling, which is, to me, one of the most valuable feelings. If I could be in the business of making people feel better about themselves and more confident, the world would be a better place. And I want to introduce Dr. Brandon Richland, who's doing that every single day, right here in Southern California. Dr. Richland, unmute yourself and welcome to Office Hours.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate the kind words there. I'm looking forward to it, and Blaine, nice to meet you virtually.
You as well, Richard. Yes.
That's amazing. Well, one of the things that I've seen over the years is the technology that's available as well, to give you more confidence in making other people more confident. There's a lot less margin of error because technology is so good. We can already see what it's going to look like, and the techniques are so much greater today, and the tools that we use. And I'm just amazed even how they've recreated some of the blotches in the past that they weren't capable of doing. How much of the artistry of what you do and providing confidence to people is because of the different techniques, tools, and training that's available in technology?
Yeah, absolutely. Even though, surgery is a very sort of manual skill set, technology is always evolving. Techniques are always evolving, even, on a yearly basis. I mean, technology evolves so fast, and the medical space is, definitely on the forefront of technology. So we see that a lot with some of the med spa devices and minimally invasive devices. So one of the newest ones that's come to market, I think we briefly touched on it, but it's called Evolve X. It's a minimally invasive or non-invasive device. It has paddles. It goes on the skin. It uses radio frequency energy and EMS stimulation to help, tighten skin, treat fine lines and wrinkles, reduce fat, and tone muscle. So you're really seeing a 3-in-1 device, whereas before you'd have to buy 3 devices, treat the patient with 3 different devices, and they're sitting there for, having treatments all the time. And now you're getting a 3-in-1. So that's one of the huge, technological advances that we've seen recently.
One of the things, I'm on the teaching faculty of the American Association for Physician Leadership.
Oh, great.
And clinicians, by and large, don't know how to run their business. They're doctors. And I'm being very general with this. And
that's true.
Yeah. It literally was not in the wheelhouse. We don't teach it in med school. You have been able to expand your business from a single, Fountain Valley practice, and you've got multiple locations now. What has been for you the one thing that, I'll limit it to one here. What was the one thing that actually enabled you to actually begin to branch out with not just throwing money at a clinic and putting it up, but you have to manage it effectively. You have to, actually, do a whole lot of things. And, cash flow is part of it. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff here. What have you paid attention to from a business perspective?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if we had to narrow it down to one thing, I think the biggest thing is trying to surround yourself with employees who embody the brand and people who really care about the practice. So when you have someone like that who has your back, you have their back, you can really start to scale the practice, scale the operations, because, I can't be in 4 clinics at a time, but if I have someone there who embodies the brand, who I know is going to represent us well, which we do. We have fantastic management, fantastic upper leadership. And so I think that's a big step as you start scaling and trying to open more locations.
And where did that emotional intelligence come from? I've have a lot of doctors in my family. Since we have no athletes, it seemed to be the best route to go, med school, and none of them over 5'2", which also gave us very few professions we could pursue. But a lot of my family members that are doctors, including my oldest brother, who unfortunately passed, but I remember before he passed, he encouraged me to become educated. He said, Dave, he goes, I'm one of the most trained people that you'll know. I went to UCLA med school, extremely intelligent academic person, but he said, I'm not very educated. And I think it limited his emotional intelligence because he had to study so hard in his specialty and his residency and his internship, and it went on and on and on. You seem to have, a greater understanding and an emotional intelligence. Do you see a difference in the way you approached your profession in schooling compared to some of your associates, or was it just genetic or energetically inherited?
Well, I appreciate the kind words. I think you're just trying to butter me up to get one of those free treatments with the
yeah,
EMS
I need Evolve X. Evolve X is coming my way. That's a given. You can't come on the show without giving me free shit.
Of course.
I have high emotional intelligence. I'm bribery to get on my show.
Yeah, well, come in. We'll get you. So, but yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's not something that's taught in school, especially for medical school. And you definitely you can lose yourself in medical school and residency, and it's almost like this, you're sort of like the trap. It's almost like the Stockholm syndrome. You're like trapped in, you finally get out, and then it's like, what do you do now, right? You try to open a practice, and there's all of these things that you're having to deal with that you're not trained in, stuff that you've never had to deal with. I think for me, it just comes from a passion of loving what I do and wanting to try and expand what I do to more people. I want to make more people happy. I want to have more people who are treated, under Richland aesthetics. And so I sort of have to learn these things along the way. I think my wife will probably take some credit for the emotional intelligence I have now. She's, definitely, helped out with that. But
she
also
married you for the free work, bro. She'll say like I will. She's like me. She'll say whatever you want. It's fine.
Yeah, no, she doesn't. She's pretty much stays away from everything. Little talks now and then, but she's naturally beautiful. She's a really beautiful person. Beautiful girl, but,
yeah, I love putting you in that position.
I think it's also listening and learning. Like I'm a lifelong student at heart, and even though you can, it's really comes down to the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. And so as I'm going through this process and learning about business, learning about managing employees, it starts opening up these other, boxes or doors that you have to go through of, okay, well, let's learn about this. Let's learn about this now. And I love learning and education. And so for me, it's really been about just, trying to better myself, learn more, and just do the best I can for patients.
One of the things I admire about doctors, not to butter you up more for my free Evolve X non-invasive skin procedures. But, one of the things, Blaine, that I find to be a great capability, and most doctors have this, in order to be a doctor, you need to learn to love what you don't like or love about what you love. Because being a doctor, most people do not want to be a doctor unless they love it. But there's so many things that you don't like or love about what it takes to become a doctor. And I really admire that. And I see what a great way to give meaning to a struggle, which anyone who has graduated and become a plastic surgeon or any type of physician. I'm smarter than both of you. I think Blaine also has one of these, but I got an honorary doctorate. It was way easier. There's no struggle at all. It was beautiful. So you notice I don't put Dr. David there like some of my associates that bullshit people. Oh, my doctor. There's enough Dr. Meltzers that earned it, and I could not take the shit if I actually put doctor from getting an honorary.
Your family wouldn't let you. Julie wouldn't let you live that down.
No, not at all. But I do tell you that the greatest honor was my mom was probably like your mom, and she always said you're either going to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a failure. And so right before my mom passed, the last day I got to talk to her, I told her, because I just had been informed I got an honorary doctorate. So I said, Mom, I did it. I'm a doctor, a lawyer, and a failure. And she said, oh, I'm so proud of you, especially how good of a failure you are. And that's one of the last things besides I love you that my mom told me before she passed. So the doctorate holds a great place in my heart. So do you, because you have your heart in the right place. I do look forward to doing more from you, and I don't expect anything in return. And I'm a little scared to have you do anything because people, it's like asking Picasso to paint with crayons, Blaine. If I ask him to help me, I'd rather him help my wife, so then he'd get all the credit because she's already gorgeous. Anyways, Dr. Richland, thank you so much. Check out at Dr. Richland. He's right here in Southern California, helping so many people feel good and confident about themselves with easy, non-invasive procedures. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll have you back anytime.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Nice talking, David. Nice meeting you, Blaine.
You bet, Dr. Richland. Take care.
Yeah, Blaine's like 106. He's had some great surgery. Anyway.
Non-invasive skin tightening.
Yeah, exactly. Good products.
Rub the scotch on and life is good.
It's so good to see you again, Blaine. Welcome back from Japan. You're one of my favorite people, if not in the whole world. What do you got as a takeaway, though, of the day?
Takeaway today, I think, is going to be around courage. I'm just thinking of what Thomas is doing with the at-risk youth. It takes courage is being able to act in the face of fear or uncertainty. And I think that was true of all three of our guests today. They've taken the initiative in the face of uncertainty. I mean, when we look at what James did with Tonga, we're going to go out and invent a whole different way of sourcing creative talent and put it together. We're going to get outside of the gated wall of Hollywood, and certainly to become a surgeon. I mean, I've been around docs enough to know that first surgery, even though you've been well trained and you worked on cadavers, now you got a live breathing person in front of you. There's courage involved with that. And the reason I mark that out, David, is because that's where life begins. It really is having the courage to take the step to breathe life into your dreams.
I love it. And for me, my takeaway is right behind you on your right shoulder. It's compassionate capitalism. Here's 3 people in 3 different stages of their career, and their main purpose, or for the sake of what, as you've taught me, is to empower and to help other people with the money that they made. All 3 people, right? You have executive vice president of Paramount Films. You have a retired, author and someone who's been very successful in men's mental health as an expert, and of course, plastic surgeons in a young age, and all of them very successful financially with only one purpose, for the sake of helping other people, whether it's the kids, whether it's confidence or courage, or whether it's opportunity with 160,000 creators. And it inspires me that people may not all read Compassionate Capitalism, but a lot of people, great leaders, are living it, and being able to articulate it in that book with you was a great, for me, success in my life to add purpose for the sake of helping other people by making a lot of money. And although, that's my trademark mission, make a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. And it's so nice to be at an age where I'm able to do that. And every time I do it, I feel so fulfilled that I'm able and capable of helping other people. So out there, whether you're able and capable of helping others, or somebody's offering who is able and capable of helping you, don't deny them. Don't deny them. Receive it and ask for more, and give more and be given more. And you'll end up where Blaine Bartlett is, right there. One of my favorite compassionate capitalists. He knows the soul of business because he lives it. He moves possibilities into reality by empowering other people to do that, including me. My number one mentor. People ask me, where the hell did you learn all this shit? He's right there, the double B, BlaineBartlett.com. If you want to learn what I know or more, just go ahead, ask Blaine. He's happy to help you. Blaine, I will see you soon, my brother.
Okay, buddy. You take care. Blessings.
Love you. Good choice on colors today, by the way. You wore my team jersey. I got a new brand I launched. It's right there. It's called, and it's purposely mistakes, but it's made from, you see the space between the letters there? Made from mistakes. That's what Dave Meltzer was. He's baby mistake. He's a baby oops. He's made from mistakes. He keeps making mistakes. Dummy tax is the most expensive tax in the world. It'll cost you everything you ever have and everything you will have. You don't have to pay it, though. You can go to people like Blaine and ask him for directions. Don't pay the dummy tax. We're made from our mistakes, but it doesn't mean you keep on having to make too many of them, or costly ones at least. Go ahead and join me. I'll be SoFi Stadium Mastermind with the Rams and Chargers. Puerto Rico, come and join me. Meetups, interviews, holding courts, speeches, and then Los Alamitos, Long Beach, the #1 show on Cheddar. Go fund yourself. And of course, in New York on this Aspire tour, David Goggins, myself, Mr. Wonderful, Eddie, Andrew, Danny, all of us on tour, the #1 biggest business tour in the world in New York City. Come and join me. If you want to be invited, it's easy, 2 ways. David@dmeltzer.com, or as Gigi put it there, text me 949-298-2905. If you do not want to feel obligated, if you don't like to be invited, do not text me 949-298-2905. Most importantly, from the Soul of Business, episode 769 or so, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self, please. Everybody do good deeds. You'll feel good. Have a good night. Hit it, Gigi.